Happy New Year, Virgos. Are you ready to talk some energy and see what's coming up for you in January? Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot for the month of January. Virgos, Happy New Year. OMG, I can't believe that we actually made it. And I can't wait to dive in and see what this energy is about for you guys. So this is for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You can also watch it for your Venus and your Mars energy. And it's also for those who have a Virgo in their life that they love. This is going to be a great reading for you to figure out all that transformational energy and see what is going to be kind of coming up for you or that person in your life that you love. So we are going to be pulling an overarching theme for your reading from the Healing Spirits Oracle from Gordon Smith. And then the card deck that spoke to me for you guys this month is the Slow Tarot from Lacey Bryant. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so as I'm shuffling this up, I want to let you guys know I'm super excited. After 11 years of being on YouTube and, fighting the algorithm, I finally now have the ability to offer memberships to my subscribers. So if you're interested in figuring out, how to stay connected and go a little bit deeper, I encourage you to click the join button and check out the 3 options that I have for us to be able to connect a little more regularly and consistently. So if that floats your boat, would love to have you there. All right, let's get to this here. The first step is taken. You have asked for help. Oh my God, Virgos. Okay, and so for those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. For those who are old hat, you know that this is going to make me really excited. So this is empowerment. This is not so much, I want to say, I feel like the guide's saying it's the theme as much as it's a direct message from our guides. And I'm a fellow Virgo, so I'm going to speak as a fellow Virgo here. The first step is taken. You have asked for help. It's kind of like saying, let go of the worry. We're on it. You don't have to manifest over your manifestation. You don't have to keep, shouting out to the rooftops, serenity now, serenity now. Where are you? Like, fix this problem, solve this issue, make it all go away. You don't have to do that. And I feel like this is giving each Virgo, I want to say, permission to be able to approach your January without fear. Approach January with confidence. Approach January going big or going home. Because look at this, arms spread wide, ready to seize the day. That's what we have coming for us in January. But I feel like, we have a tendency to overthink, overcommit, overanalyze, to be overly anxious. And this is the message. No matter what happens in January, don't worry. You've already asked for help. So everything is good. Trust that what's happening afterwards is meant to be. It's happening for you. Oh, wow. I'm super pumped. Okay. So presently, where are you right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Ooh, we got 10 of coins. So this is dissolving, getting that right away. 10 of coins is the card of legacy. And so I feel like this is the legacy that you have lived already, the legacy that you have created already. Legacy by definition is like the thing that we build, that we leave behind. It's like the thing that we leave behind after we have lived our life, and, people can judge it as good, bad, or indifferent, right? I feel like this is about living legacy. What is the legacy that you are actually living out? And this is saying to me, at present, I'm acknowledging the fact that I have come full circle. I'm acknowledging the fact that I've done a lot already. and I am ready for something new. 10 is new beginnings based on an already established foundation. You are so ready. You are so ready for something new. You are so ready to not do the same damn thing over and over and over again. You're ready for Groundhog Day to be done. And I feel like this 10 of coins is coming up to say, take stock of where you've been, but do it briefly. Do it in an hour. This is not something where you got to take, 5 weeks to examine. Do it in an hour, and then do a little ceremony for yourself, a burning ceremony or a water ceremony to release it, to say thank you for all of that. And now I am getting ready to do something new and different. And that means that it's time for me to build a new legacy. It's time for me to step outside the box. Look at all of the things and the stuff and all of the resources, and now determine, what am I going to make use of? What am I going to repurpose? What do I no longer need? This has kind of an antique-y feel. We have the family portrait. We've got a number of different coins that come from a number of different places. We have a ring. We have an astrology cube here, or I should say a D&D cube here. We've got marbles, kids, old-fashioned. That was an old-fashioned game that kids used to play, marbles. I don't think they have that today, but at least not to my knowledge. We have some kind of, maybe it's a journal, maybe it's a novel, but it's, there's old energy here, old style clock. Everything here has already been created, and you can enjoy it, but you're not going to create this again. It's like, I'm ready for the new. I'm putting what I can use away, and I'm getting rid of the rest of it, right? I'm getting ready to bring something new into the mix. So I want to say own that, because when we ask the question, what part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? This is dissolving. This is just an acknowledgement of these things and saying, thank you, but I'm ready for something new. Next. And I feel like that across the board for all of us Virgos. I know that this is a Gemini. I know that this is a general reading, but I'm feeling that is a message for all of us. That we're all, and if it's not right across the board in your life, it's in one area of your life that we're talking about. But for most of us, it's the whole thing. It's the whole kit and caboodle. So understand that your guides, your angels and guides, are acknowledging that that's where you're at. And they're encouraging you to be able to move beyond it. The catalyst, what's fueling or hindering your transformation? Is this resistance or rocket fuel? I apologize for some of the light coming through. It's winter light for me in my home is a bit difficult in the room that I do my recordings with, so I apologize. King of Swords. So I talked about the overthinking. I talked about getting overly analytical. This for sure is about getting over analytical about a plan. You don't want to overanalyze the plan. He's got his sword there, and actually the sword looks a little broken, which is kind of interesting. But I feel like the sword is there not because he wants to fight and go into battle. It's because he wants to use it just to separate the wheat from the chaff, to bring clarity to the situation. And I just saw that he used his sword to free these birds, to free the doves. And the sword got broken in the process of freeing the doves, and he's not really sad about it. He's a warrior. He's seen a lot of war, and he's gotten wise to it. He knows that, he knows the cost of doing that. So he chooses to only use the sword as a tool, unless he absolutely has to, right? And so I feel like, Virgos, this is kind of what's coming up for you here, is this idea that you're looking at your resources, you're looking at all that you have acquired, knowledge or, physical stuff, and experience. And you're now looking at it and saying, where do I need to adjust my approach? Where do I need to let go of a particular action step that the past me would normally take? Because I don't want to be in that space anymore. I don't want to be always having to do things alone, right? The first step is taken. You have asked for help. I'm not alone. The universe is with me. My angels and guides are supporting me. I don't have to do this alone, and I don't have to keep going back to old patterns or habits in order to get something done. And in fact, I see a lot of us kind of, what do you call that? Retracting, taking that step back, retracting from or retreating from a potential fight, a potential conflict. And it's not about being cowardly and walking away from, difficult stuff. It's more about using the wisdom of, is this a conversation worth having? Or am I wasting my breath? Rather than engaging in things that are connected to the past, I'm going to choose to engage now in a different way, in a unique way, because I want to have a different experience, because I know I've asked for help and everything that's showing up for me now is pointing me in the new direction and guiding me in that way. So how can I use the wisdom of this, but also understand that I'm learning a new way to use similar tools, or the tools that I have gained, the tools that I have acquired and that I'm choosing to keep, right? Rather than pass on. Interesting. I feel like January is going to be a really deep month for us, a deep emotionally, and somewhat energetically challenging from the perspective of knowing your limits, because it's going to be different every day. When you're exploring this, and anytime that we're using a tool in a different way, there's a learning curve, right? And that learning curve can feel a little extra tiring or extra draining until we get adapted to it, until we get used to it. So I feel like January is going to be a month where you're learning something new and there's an adaptation process that's happening. So be aware of your energy levels, but really this is about what we're letting go of emotionally. And it's kind of like surrendering to the reality of, oh, yay, okay, yes, the help is coming. Yes, it is here. And I'm not having to do this alone, and I'm not having to sit here and figure it out by myself. I've asked for help a million times and not received it, right? So there's a big shift that's occurring here. It feels really, really big. Ooh, I love that. Okay, deep root. What deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Love this. 10 of Cups. So ultimately, this, Virgos, is what you want. It's the ideal outcome. This is what you want. You want the house with the white picket fence. And I'm using this as an analogy, not necessarily that everybody wants the white house or the house with the white picket fence and the 2.5 car garage and the dog and the kids and the stuff. It just represents an ideal, okay? So whatever your ideal is, you really want it. You've wanted it for a while, for a really long time, and you've wanted it so much that you can taste it. And you've watched other people have the thing that you've wanted before you've gotten it. And there's been a lot of challenge in feeling abandonment, in feeling betrayed, feeling abandoned, feeling betrayed, feeling like a leaf blowing in the wind. And I want to say that as a result of that, you want to kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive to make sure that that is not the subconscious story that you're telling yourself, because that story, if that is what is kind of driving the bus under the surface, it's going to sabotage everything that wants to come in for you. That's why you've asked for the help. That's why a lot of times the help hasn't shown up in the ways that you wanted it to, because there's this part of you that really believes somehow that it's not going to happen. Some of you, it's about a worthiness issue. I'm not worthy and deserving. For others of you, I feel like it's more, I don't like to use the word karma, but that's the word I'm getting. It's a little more karmic in nature. You've been working through some really challenging karma. You've been working through a lot of soul blueprint, divine blueprint energy. And I feel like you're coming out of that now. You really are coming out of that. It was a pattern and cycle that needed to unfold in the way that it needed to unfold. Whether you liked it or not, that matters not. But the thing to focus on now is you are on the other side of it. And maybe just barely, or maybe you're getting ready to walk through the portal of being on the other side of it. But the point is, you're literally like one step away, or you've already taken that step and everything is new. everything is wide open for you. So I feel like the messaging here is about paying attention to the story that your subconscious or your ego voice or your inner monologue is telling you about the fact that you are going to get help, the fact that this will be like you're allowed to have it. You're allowed to have it and you're going to have it. You're going to be given it or you're going to be able to take it. And it's not a pipe dream and it's not, 4 years down the road. It's kind of like, okay, you're ready. You're here now. And so this is what you're opening to. Very important to do some inner child work or ego work here. Very important to do that because you don't want to sabotage this. You don't need one more kick at the can. You really don't. You really, really don't. Okay, this is what's dying away. What part of you is falling away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Interesting. Okay, so because of nudity, I'm just going to put a little crystal on top of the boobs there. Okay, this is really interesting. Feeling like you've got to be chief cook and bottle washer for everybody. Feeling like you're constantly in your garden tilling your soil. Feeling a total desire for creative flow, but having a complete lack of it. Obstacle. Feeling like you're being stopped all the time, feeling like you're always in a major traffic jam where the car isn't moving and you're literally stuck in one spot for hours. I feel very much like when we get the Empress card, people often think about it as, the sexuality, the abundance, the creative flow, that creative energy, you got all your needs met, it's resources. Yeah, it's all of those things. But on the flip side of it, let's look at that. What's on the opposite end of that? The opposite end of that is having lack, not having enough, feeling stifled, feeling smothered or suffocated, feeling the work and the effort and the energy of a bad harvest, right? Or a difficult season where there isn't anything to harvest. This, I feel, is what you are coming out of. And it's going to be really important when we talk about it like a pattern. Again, talking about the 10 of Cups and having a conversation with your ego voice and your inner guidance is making sure that you're not carrying any habits or patterns that have been established as a result of the shitstorm that you've been through. It's been a long journey. I know I can tell you my journey has been 6 years and I'm moving into the 7th year in the next couple of months. So actually next month I'm moving into the 7th year of this journey. And I agree with you. Like I agree with the cards. I am at that space where I'm almost on the other side of it. I haven't quite walked through the portal yet, but I'm close. Like I can see it. So, however long this has been for you guys, I feel like this is what is dying away. So it's not that the abundance is dying away. It's the lack of abundance, or it's the abundance of the stuff that is not wanted, not preferred. So that feels really good. I'm really liking that is the thing that is dying away. I'll take that. What's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Love this. Reciprocity, generosity, receiving, give and take. What a perfect card to come on the other side of this. So when we see what is emerging, it's coming into that space where we're recognizing this month. Not to say that everything that we've gone through is worth it, because, all things being equal, wish we hadn't had to go through that. But here we are, right? No sense crying over spilled milk. We're here now. Let's just focus on where this is taking us next. And I feel very much that this month in particular is going to be a draw or a calling for each of us to find ways to give the things that we are wanting to have. So this is a really interesting message. It's kind of like, if I want more money, I need to give money. If I want more love, I need to give more love. If I want more friends, I need to be more of a friend. If I want more health, I need to give some kind of health thing. So whether I'm, giving someone health advice or encouragement on their own health journey, that is going to feed the energy that I feel is what is about to show up in your life. And it's kind of like it's standing at the door, but it needs to be invited in. And you acknowledging it, you speaking that, you're inviting it in. So it's literally just around the corner, or it's standing at your front door, but it hasn't quite knocked yet. It's waiting for you to invite it, right? To call it in. So I feel like that's why that 6 of coins is coming up. And I'm going to say to you as well, when we talk about this being a supportive energy, I feel like the give and take or the give and receive, it's not about, we as Virgos, we're in service a lot, and sometimes we don't have enough boundary around what that service looks like. And so the idea of having to give more in order to receive, when we've just gone through, a particular window of time of giving, and not always receiving in the ways that we want to receive it. We always receive. Clearly, you and I are both still here, so we're doing something right. But it doesn't always happen in the ways that we want it. And so then there's the tendency to look at this and say, are you kidding me? You want me to give even more when it's mine, like I deserve it, I should have it right now? I feel like it's all about getting into that frequency and that vibe. And that's what this is saying, is it's literally standing on your doorstep. You just don't know it yet. So you got to go to the door and let it in. The way to go to the door and let it in is to get ready to give somebody something. And when you open the door, oh my God, there it is. So you're giving it, but it's also there right in front of you. So don't get resentful or angry, or maybe it's better to say, we feel what we feel, right? So take away the don't. Recognize that if you start to feel resentful or angry about this step or this phase, that's not going to serve you. That's going to keep you in a lower frequency, in a lower energy vibration. It's going to keep you from receiving what is right there. Okay. Remember, we want to invite it in. We want to open the door and invite it in. Interesting. A little checkup from the neck up around that. And some of us might be feeling that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with feeling resentful and angry and tired, not wanting to have to, step in and be the all once again for everybody. There's nothing wrong with wanting what is, I want to say, your due. But feeling those things in an intensive way and a prolonged way is just not going to serve you. Your role in this process, how are you navigating the transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Oh, I love this, the Magician. So you're definitely, I want to say this month, boldly rising. You're boldly rising because you are not only setting yourself up to receive by giving, but you're also counting all of your resources, all of your blessings, recognizing, oh my God, yes, I finally have all the pieces of the puzzle. I finally have what it is I need to be able to get to the finish line, to get to the goal, or to get to the next level that I've been striving for. And here, she's working her magic. She's doing what needs to be done here. She's got some glasses on and she looks very focused. She's very studious in this work, and she means business. And I feel like this is the energy that you want to be bringing into this dynamic, is understanding if I'm boldly rising, that means I'm very focused and I'm not going to allow myself to be distracted by anything, thoughts, weirdness, feelings that keep me in a lower frequency, lack, what I don't have, what I've been through. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused solely on the thing that I am alchemizing right now, the thing that I am bringing into being. The Empress is a card of creativity, and so is the Magician. The Magician is creativity in action, right? It's the divine masculine energy of that. It's I've got the recipe and I'm making the thing. I'm creating the thing, and I'm taking a pinch of this and a dash of that, and I'm concocting the potion or the recipe. It is all about manifestation as well. And it's manifestation, I want to say, at an expert level. And you now, Virgo, are experts at manifesting. Believe it or not, we always have had it. That it's the Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. We always had the ruby slippers on us. We all had the power within us. It was always within us. We needed to go through the process to realize it. Well, you've gone through the process now, and you don't have to go through it again. So it is a clear, direct focus on what you're bringing into your life and into your world. That feels huge, and I love that. Okay, I skipped one. So we need to do now the highest Phoenix potential. After we talked about what's dying away, what can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Wow. Okay, so Three of Swords. This is often a card of betrayal, seen as betrayal and heartbreak, but on the other side of it, it's an invitation to practice self-care. It's an invitation to go within and say, I need to remove these swords and allow my heart to heal. And it is an invitation to, I want to say, allow the heart to heal back in a stronger way, in a more fortified way, not in a closed way. We don't want to close our hearts down, but in, I want to say, a more fortified way. And what I'm seeing here, sort of with the blood dripping down, I feel like there's also a detoxification that's going to be happening. Now, some of you may decide when you hear that word, well, I want to do kind of a physical detox, or I want to do a social media detox. I definitely feel that any kind of detox that you're feeling called to do, Virgo, in the month of January is going to serve you well. And it's going to purify, right? It's going to remove what is residual and lingering in those spaces and places of our energetic fields, our auric fields, our bodies that we aren't always aware of. It's the gunk and the guck, and brings in some clarity. This is definitely a month where you're going to feel more cared for. And I feel like more so even than just the month itself, I feel like in general, you're going to feel more cared for moving forward, because you know how to care for yourself, because you've been doing it all this, previous window of time where you have felt like you've been alone. And of course, we're never alone, but astrologically, energetically, we've had to allow things to unfold organically. It was just, I've said this before, it was just our time on the wheel to go through this particular challenge. But now we've asked for help. We've got it. The first step is taken. And so we can be in a space where we can inform others how we wish to be treated, because we treat ourselves in that way. And it's a graduation of sorts. There's a new approach for us. And so I think that's such a beautiful thing to talk about our highest Phoenix potential. This rising from the ashes, yeah, we're healed. Yes, there was betrayal. Yes, there was heartbreak, a fuck ton of it, quite frankly. But that's in the past. That's behind us. And it has made us stronger. So it's adding to our beauty. It's adding to the pile. Okay, this is your circles of support. So who or what is influencing your transformation now, right now? And is it positive or negative in its influence? The Fool, I love it. Yes, so Virgo, I think you feel me when I say we have been so ready for this new freaking adventure. And an adventure that is not fraught with detours and obstacles and falling rocks and dead flowers and detours and dead ends, right? We're done with that. We are ready to jump for joy. We are ready to open our hearts wide to receiving, but also to sharing all that we have to offer. Even though this has been a really challenging window of time for us, it has shaped and molded our hearts. It has opened our hearts collectively and individually in ways that we were not anticipating. but in ways that are connected to the divine blueprint. And this Fool journey that we are getting ready to step into, I'm hearing very clearly, very directly, is part of the divine blueprint. And it would not have been available to us had we not gone through what we just went through. So this is the reward. You guys hear me all the time talking about, like, I did all the things and the stuff. Where's my freaking cookie? Well, this is the freaking cookie. I'm also feeling from an external influence perspective that the Fool has been informing your choices for quite some time. And because it's been informing your choices for quite some time, it no longer feels quite like the fresh adventure that you might be thinking it is. It's like it's kind of dulled for you, or maybe you are subconsciously trying to protect yourself and you're not leaning into it totally, or allowing yourself to get excited about it. But I'm feeling here that would be doing yourself a disservice to not allow yourself to get excited and to feel, this is the light coming. I mean, obviously it's the sun and she's up against the sun, but it also looks like the light is beaming from her chest and her head. There has been enlightenment that you have received. Allow that sun to be on your face because you have worked hard to receive and achieve it. So don't do yourself a disservice by seeing this as a negative approach or dulling down the exciting adventure that this really is for you, because that's what it really is. I feel like it's your guides coming through and saying to you, we've got you. It's time for the new. Like all of this other stuff that you've been through, I know it's been hard and it's now over. And now we're stepping into something new. You understand the importance of self-care. You know how to care for yourself and you know how to care better for others as a result of this experience. You have more compassion for yourself and others. And now with all of that information and you being very focused on your path and what you're building ahead, this is the Fool's journey that now can be a part of it. And it's an invitation to bring a bit more of that innocence into the space. Truly see it as an adventure. Truly see it as something extremely exciting that you can look forward to or that you are enjoying while you are in the process of it. That feels huge. All right, hopes and fears. Who are you dreaming of becoming? And what scares you about actually doing it? Interesting. Knight of Swords. So I feel very strongly that when we're talking about the Knight of Swords, there's an energy of impulsivity, but there's also an intelligence behind the Knight of Swords. This is a knight who receives information, receives the quest, receives the task at hand, focuses on the to-do list, goes at it with his whole heart. He's all in. And, sometimes that's not always a great thing because, he can leap without looking, or he leaps before he takes all the information in. He doesn't get all the information. I feel like this is the fear that you actually have, is that you're stepping onto this journey, this quest, and that you're leaping into it too much. And perhaps that's what you feel was the catalyst to the experience that you just went through. And so you're like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that again. Granted, rightfully so. Makes perfect sense. I totally feel you. But here's the difference. In January, you're going to have a lot of opportunity to reflect on what's being presented to you. And I feel that there's a lot of calculated risk, thoughtful choice, thoughtful action. You have learned from this other experience. There's no going back. Like, you can't unlearn what you've learned. So I feel like whenever anything is going to present itself as an opportunity, you're automatically going to say, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Give me a minute to do my research, or give me a minute to kind of think this through, or to talk it through with somebody before I say yes to it. You're automatically, I want to say, that's ingrained in you now. That's been integrated into this new version of you. So you're automatically going to do this. It's not like before where maybe you chose to ignore intuition, or, you were duped by somebody because you didn't, do your due diligence or do the research, or maybe you did all the research and all the things and the stuff and something still kind of went awry. I feel like when we're talking about that hopes and fears energy, this is coming through in a really powerful way because I want to say you don't have to worry about being impulsive. It's okay to say yes to the quest. It's okay to say yes to the adventure. And yes, it's good that you're going to be, inspired in your action and moving forward in your action and taking action. Absolutely. It's important to do that. Just trust that you're not doing it empty-handed, and you're not doing it without there having been some forethought. The Knight of Swords doesn't always act impulsively. That's I want to say, sort of the opposite side, right? Or the shadow side of that card. That's your fear, but that doesn't have to be your reality. All right, Virgos. So now we are at the outcome. If you stay on course this month, who will you be on the other side of this journey? And what is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? Interesting. We have Temperance. This is good because it is an alchemy card. We can call it about, we can refer to its balance and its alignment. Definitely feeling that. The Temperance card often comes after, well, it always comes after the Death card in the tarot. But it's the energy of, okay, you just went through a phoenix burning energy. We're going to give you a little bit of a pause. We're going to give you some time to reflect, to not have to, drive the bus and steer the ship and all the things and the stuff. This is the time to, sort of integrate what has transpired, to accept, to get into that place of radical acceptance of what is, right? So Temperance is about taking that, what you've learned from the phoenix burning, taking the ash and applying it to the new vision, mixing something, one object with another object to create something new. And so it's taking the ash, it's taking the lessons and applying it moving forward. So in January, I'm feeling very much that this transformational frequency for you is really going to be about how you are applying all of the stuff without sitting in the past. It's kind of taking little snippets and then closing the door on that and just really focusing on what you're moving forward with. Again, it's okay to enjoy the adventure, and you're not necessarily going to be impulsive about it. The action is warranted, but it's not going backwards. We need to be going forwards. And in the process of that, you are taking your time to perfect the recipe. You're taking the time to, pour the cup of tea with the white glove, and taking your time to pour that tea so that there isn't a spill, and look at the detail on the environment or the ambiance that this server has created for whoever is going to be able to imbibe and partake of this incredible tea service, right? You're perfecting your craft, you are expressing mastery, and you're taking it up the next level. And I feel like all of this is happening because you're ready for it, because now is your time. Remember, we talked about legacy, and we talked about the soul blueprint, the divine blueprint, and we talked about this being the ideal outcome. Well, this is you bringing that ideal outcome into fruition, into tangibility. The first step is taken. You have asked for help, and you're receiving the help. So this feels really freaking good. All right, Virgo. So that is your transformational tarot for the month of January. Again, Happy New Year. So excited to be doing this wild ride called Life with You in 2026. I still have some random spots on my calendar for the Your Year in Preview 2026 service and the Your Year in Transformation 2026 service. If you wanted to get a sneak peek into what 2026 is holding for you from a predictive level, I encourage you to book a Your Year in Preview session with me. And if you want to go really all in, deep dive with how you are going to be transforming and how your soul wants to express itself through 2026, book a Your Year in Transformation experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. It's really a lot of fun. And otherwise, until we see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, I send you so much love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well.